nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Cindy, can we get a roll call, please?
Blair.
Here.
Broughton.
Here.
DePalma.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Thurman.
Here.
Unruh.
Here.
Rumble.
Here. All right, approval of the agenda. Item F under new business is getting removed.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. You say item F?
Yes.
Frank.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can we, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, that'll bring us right into our reports, and we have a treasury report. We have the building department report, and we have the fire department report. Chief, do you want to talk about that?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Happy New Year. I was told today's the last day I could say that, so here we are. You have the report in front of you. 1,541 calls for last year. As you can see, 67% of that is EMS calls. Kind of breaks everything down. If you have any questions, be more than happy to answer them. We also show you where we end up transporting most. St. Joe Mercy in Oakland, which is pretty much it every year. And other than that, if you have any questions, it's just a synopsis of what we've done over here.
You're doing a good job, Chief.
All right,
Keep up
thank
the good work.
Hey, the crews did all the work, so I just get to put it together. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, senior center report, I do not see Faye. CDBG report, anything there, Rosalind?
I'm still not receiving reports from Oakland County.
Okay.
And I did put an email into Mike Booker to request that we start receiving those reports again.
All right, Parks and Rec, Fred?
Well, we're back 2023 and Happy New Year to everybody. I gave you a year-end report. Brandy over here helped me with it. She did graph work and I directed her to put in that direction to do that for us. And surprisingly, she had done like 12 hours. It was done. Anyways, it's a good report. Shows where our strong points are. And all of our programs did run. There was no cancellations like we did at, COVID of 2021. So we're moving forward. Some good things that happened last year with the Eagle Scout building us a shuffleball court. We've had a lot of donations as far as ADA benches out at the park. And all the grants have been, the current grants that were active have been closed and passed all inspections. The money's starting to trickle in. So all that paperwork's done. And then as far as the concession stand goes and the restrooms, that we will be meeting, Jason and I will be meeting with the HRC in the very near future, like most likely next week or the week after. It'll be in January. And then we're gonna get a design drawn up so we can get that bid process moving forward. This Lighten Hill currently is out of service. The pump has seen its days, put it that way, the power source. And we're I got a guy that's donating his time, electrician that builds car washes, and they have this similar system, all the breakers and all that kind of stuff, and the conveyor belt. Well, anyways, he's working with me, and we found a few that we could probably use around the $1,200, $900 to $1,200 price range for these motors. And so we're looking into that and try to get it up and running.
So when you said pump, you meant motor, is that right, Fred? When you said pump, you meant motor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the first time it's gone out?
Yep.
So how many years did it last year?
Well, we opened it up in 2010, so
Oh, that's a long time. Okay.
it's, like I was telling Jason and some other people, you try to keep these kids 6 foot apart. That's what the rule is.
That doesn't happen.
They don't. You literally got to have somebody there. So what we're going to do, we're going to get some paint that's tags to that belt that won't hurt nothing, And we're gonna make 6-foot slots all the way up.
Everybody's gonna think it's just COVID related though.
Yeah, exactly.
Might have been easy during COVID time, but, and luckily there hasn't been much snow this year, so it's not like,
They've been open, the lift station wasn't open, but they've used the hill one time.
I was gonna say, that's
Yeah.
all you probably got in was that one snow so far. And I don't see snow for the future.
We're looking at snow, I think Thursday, maybe they can still use it.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's where we're at with that. I want to talk a little bit about what's coming for 2023. We're very fortunate that Lions Club and the Rotary Club are going to do a first time ever, that I think of, in most communities, a project to build us a gazebo over at the passive side of the park, which is where the Living Tree Library is, right dead center. They've committed to it. I got a letter of commitment from both of them. I wrote a small grant for the Rotary, and we received, we wasn't awarded that as well. And then Lions Club told me that they truly, truly want this, that they also set an additional $10,000 off to the side in case there's some miscellaneous things that happen. We had a park subcommittee meeting, and I got their blessing on writing another grant, community foundation out of Oakland County. I called first, and the guy said that we highly qualified because we're government and that we had service groups involved. Now, I'll bring this grant to the board for approval in your February meeting, then once approved, we'll submit it by February 17th. In the meantime, I've been writing and it's done, and I've talked to the representative down in Oakland County, and he says it looks good. He had made a couple of corrections on it, but he said he's looking forward to working with us if we get it. We're asking for $29,500. The good thing about this, there's no matching money from the township, nothing,
What's the grant for, Fred?
for the gazebo.
In addition to what the Lions Club, okay.
So we're gonna end up having about a near $50,000 project when it's said and done. Now, it's for the entry road, benches, the solar lighting, and the gazebo itself, the concrete floors, the seating area, trash cans, everything, all the bells and whistles you gotta have with a project like that. Lions Club want me to come to their meeting Wednesday night and to go over the grant once again with them. But they're excited. They also want to put a community garden out at the park as well. So we're going to discuss that. So I did get board or approval from the park subcommittee, and I'll bring those. You got the minutes, but I'll bring a copy of the grant to the board on February's meeting.
For the community garden that they're talking about, would that be vegetables? Or, yeah, cool.
Vegetables and some perennials, I think they want to do as well. And I'm very excited about how the Lions Club in particular is stepping up, because I've kind of been bugging them for the last 10 years. I said, you need your Lions emblem out there at the park. And it's going to work out, and I'm really happy about that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Fred. Does anybody else have anything else for Fred? Okay.
I want to say that one last thing that I'm retiring in August, and you got the office is in really good hands right now. Brandy's been doing an excellent job. She picked up where Kara left off real quick. She's learned a few things on the Rec Pro, and Scott in the Treasury Department and the Clerk's Department have been working with her as well, getting her trained. And I had Venus on the agenda, and I found out that to be part-time eligible, you got to be 30 hours. Was
25
it? 25,
or more. Mhm.
and I have her at 20. So that's office hours. So I'm gonna sit down with Jason and find out if hours that she puts in, as far as an instructor, counts towards that. So we might be bringing that back to the table. So thank you.
Thanks, Fred. All right, that brings us into our reports. I noticed it's out of order on the thing here, but we'll do the trustees first. So Kathy?
Okay, I think mine's gonna be a little lengthy, sorry, I'll apologize at this point. When I was reading over the minutes, I was wondering, and this is probably a question for Rosalind, that the treasurer's report are in the minutes, and it takes up a lot of space, and I was wondering if that's necessary, because it hasn't been in the
We've
past.
already addressed it. I'm gonna just
Oh.
start posting them in documents on demand.
Okay, or else,
Typically, for the minutes, they just, the treasury report just goes into the final minutes.
yeah, yeah. Okay, you got that all under control, that's great. And then I just want to make a request again that the ARPA funds be put in the committed, restricted, and maybe, I know that you were speaking to the auditor, and maybe can give you more feedback on that, because it's sitting in our carry forward for this year, and it just gives us a false feeling of how much money is in our carry forward, because the ARPA funds didn't get put into the committed last year that I'm aware of. And then also, I would like to respond to the board that was sent to the email from the supervisor last Thursday regarding budget amendment questions, and most of those were ones that I brought up at the special meeting last week. And because I don't want to deliberate outside of an open meeting, I didn't want to reply to all on the email, and that was also requested by the supervisor. So I'm just going to go over it in my report. So, in the email, he stated that the clerk and treasurer had a meeting with the Taylor Morgan Group and auditor Kempelka, and they verified two things. First, transfers. There is no requirement that transfers go through a holding account. It is perfectly legal and proper for transfer to go straight from general ledger to committed funds. There's no need to go through a second unneeded step. And I wanted to thank you for clarifying that, because I was given that information from our previous bookkeeper, and I'm not sure where she got it from. So thank you for clarifying that one. Number two, wage line items over budget. There is no requirement that wage line items can be over budget. All that matters is that the cost center itself, where the wages are paid, isn't over budget. There is no ding or write-up by the auditor for wage lines being over budget when the cost center isn't over budget. And my comment about getting a ding from the auditor was in regard to the street lighting cost center. It wasn't in regard to the wages. And we fixed that item and made an amendment for the street lighting, so that cost center is not over. But the wage line items should not go over budget according to the Appropriations Act. And that's something that we adopt every year. And I just wanted to read the two, section 9 and 10. 9 is adoption of budget by department. Charter Township of Brandon Board of Trustees adopts the 2023 fiscal year general fund budget by department. Township officials responsible for the expenditures authorized in the budget may expend township funds up to, but not to exceed, the total appropriation authorized for each department, and may make transfers among the various line items contained in the cost center appropriation. However, no transfers of appropriations for line items related to personnel, and that's what we've always taken to mean wages.
Who's we? You?
Previous boards, or capital outlays may be made prior to without prior board approval by budget amendment. And So my suggestion is the Appropriations Act is based on township law, and I would recommend that you ask legal counsel if we need to do that, and not because the accountings go by their accounting guides, and they don't have anything about wage lines. But I would say follow up with the attorney if you have questions about.
I don't have questions about it. The auditor already said it was fine.
I know, but this is a legal question, not an auditor question. And Section 10, appropriations to mandate, not a mandate to spend. Appropriations will be deemed maximum authorizations to incur expenditures. The fiscal officer shall exercise supervision and control to ensure the expenditures are within appropriations and shall not issue any town order for expenditures that exceed appropriations. So I just wanted to follow up that the budgeting principles are written according, I can't read my writing, to the Michigan compiled laws. And so the town, yeah, and I went over that before about the township attorney should be contacted to make sure that personnel in the budget is, if that's referring to wages or not. But I know Dana made the recommendation to allow the wage lines to go over for last year. So I think she's aware that that's how we've done it in the past, is to make sure that the wages don't go over. And also in the Red Book, it talks about the Appropriations Act and gives all the MCLs and what have you in that. So anyways, I'm done now. I'm sorry.
Steve?
It's a hard act to follow. Just Happy New Year. It's our second year of me being on the board, and thanks for working with me. I've really enjoyed it so far. So that's it.
Rob?
Not a thing other than Happy New Year and hope it's a good one for everybody.
Dana?
None of my committees met this past month of December, and so I have nothing to report on them, but I do hope everyone had wonderful holidays and that Happy New Year, since today's the last day that we can say that for chief.
Thanks, Dana. All right, that brings us back to Scott.
Yep, tax collections are going well, and that's about where I'm at.
All right.
What about dog license? How long do we have to renew those? I just
June
realized.
1st.
Okay, thank you.
You can buy a 1 or 3-year tag, depending on when your rabies shot. Not your rabies shot, but
All
the
right,
dog.
my dog shot. I have to look at his license, but I just thought of
Snuck
that.
that one
so
in
thank
there.
you.
All right, Rosalind?
Good evening. Thank you all for attending the board meeting for Brandon Township. We are still waiting for the state to certify the November 8th, 2022 election. Moving on to the Community Development Block Grant. There was a recount that was filed, so they had to work through
wasn't
their
aware of that.
recount. Yep. So in regards to the Community Development Block Grant, for program year 2022, the grant agreements have been approved, and Oakland County has submitted them to HUD. We did meet, so the Taylor Morgan, in the beginning of January, the accountant, Jason, myself, Scott, and the auditor, and the Taylor Morgan group did meet. I feel it was a great meeting that we had, and we just discussed the catching up on the accounting. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. 2 things real quick. One, Fred forgot to mention, we did get another grant check back. This was for grant 2, just under $36,000 on that one so far. And then we did get our constitutional sales tax check, just under $274,000. And that's all I had for tonight. All right, that brings us into our correspondence, which you have the no-has collection numbers there from county. Brighton and Groveland Youth Assistance.
What are we
letter.
doing? I guess I don't. What are we doing? Are we doing no-has this year?
We only
No.
do it like every 3
Yeah.
years, and I'll just
Okay.
tell you that this cost is almost doubled for this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
So,
I've noticed that.
yeah. All right, BGYA, Carlisle Wortman's letter, Parks and Rec Subcommittee meeting minutes, and then we have our cleanup statistics, which was the ones that are done at our township park, and then ones that are out at the CMI location over at Grange Hall. Are there any citizens that have any comments on agenda items only limited to 3 minutes?
Wait, on the meeting minutes for the Parks and Recs, I thought we met on November 30th, not December 6th. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't remember. Let me
I'm
look.
pretty sure because that was, I came in, Jason, that day, and there was a reason I remember it was that day.
What date?
I thought it was November 30th we met.
I don't have it in my calendar on either day, so I can't tell you.
Well, that's why I said, well, that's why in my report I said that the Parks and Rec subcommittee didn't meet.
I put that calendar away.
Okay, so we'll figure it out.
Find it.
I can double check when I get to the office.
Because I had it on my time for November 30th, and that's why I said this month that
Oh,
we
so it was
didn't
probably
meet.
November 30th.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the 30th.
So you want to change that to the 30th then? Brenda, do you think that was the right date? And, okay. Just adjust that on there. All right, that brings us back to
Yeah, I
citizen.
said that we met on the 5th, when we had our meeting on the 5th, I said that we met and discussed the gazebo. It was the 30th, that days in my mind for a different reason of why it was the 30th.
Okay, any citizens' comments? Okay, seeing none, well, no discussion items, that goes to the consent agenda. We have regular meeting minutes of 12/5/22, special meeting minutes of 12/28/22, regular bills in the amount of $11,455, prepays in the amount of $303,844,000, and trustee timesheets $756. And there is no unfinished business.
We gotta approve the,
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Kathy, thanks, Steve. And we'll go ahead and roll call that, please.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. Now it brings us to new business. Full-time administrative assistant for the supervisor's office. We previously agreed to hire Heather as a supervisor's assistant. Unfortunately, she notified us that due to some changed circumstances for her, she wasn't gonna be able to take that position. So Stacy had expressed interest in the beginning, but when we had all those applications, she decided she didn't want to move forward at that time. But after Heather said no, she decided she did want to the job. And so I'm bringing this to the board, asking to move Stacy into our department. She's been a full-time employee since 2019, so she qualifies for the 2-year full-time pay, which is her current pay of $23.37. So I would like to make this motion. I do it instead of currently, which is spelled wrong, it should say current in the motion. So to hire Stacy Lawrence as the full-time administrative assistant at her current hourly rate of $23.37, and also want to appoint her as the deputy supervisor.
I'll support.
Thank you.
Second, sorry.
Same thing. Yes, Kathy.
How are all her nutcrackers gonna fit in the supervisor?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
She'll make
question.
She'll make it work.
They'll be in a
Or they'll be in both spots.
But yeah, she's done a great job ever since
Absolutely.
she's been hired. it's gonna be hard to find a replacement for her in the building department.
Well, the good news is we have the last 2 building department assistants still employed here, so they'll be able to help us
Yeah,
in person.
that's
along,
true.
so-
Yes, that's right.
The reason why I went back and said second is because the MTA classes that I attend, they always say, don't say support, always say second.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and roll call that, please.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. Payroll policy amendment, one quick thing to point out, general employee benefits manual should say employee policies and procedures manual there in the explanation. So I'm looking to make this change. Rosalind and I discussed this. This eliminates the necessity of paper pay stubs. It saves the township time and money, and the employees would have access to their pay stubs and payroll information more efficiently online. Yes.
Just a question. Can we put the manual into the motion just so it makes it more clear?
I don't think that's necessary when you have them right in front of you, but I guess.
Will instructions be sent out to the employees on how to access their paychecks? Because I haven't seen anything yet.
Yes, no, you haven't seen anything because we haven't
hasn't
rolled
been
that out
approved.
yet. It hasn't been approved.
Oh, we have to
We have
approve.
to approve it first.
All right, then I'll make the motion to approve the amended direct deposit paragraph 510 payroll as presented with an effective date of January 1, 2023 in the Employment Policies and Procedures Manual. And then I know Scott wanted some discussion.
Yeah, I'm going to
I'll
be the.
second.
Go ahead.
Thank you,
Let's
Kathy.
let's
She
support it
seconded,
first.
yep.
Yeah. I'm going to be the curmudgeon here. I've used direct deposit most of my career. I don't have a problem with it personally, but some people might, and I don't like requiring it. I think it should be recommended, but I don't like requiring it from there might be some people that don't want to have the township depositing into their bank account. It's just the way it is. And as far as the pay stubs, it's a simple check run, and we don't even have to use check stock. And it's my office that stuffs the envelopes and delivers them to everyone. Most of them do not get mailed. They get hand delivered, whether it's the fire department or anybody here or the senior center or Greg Norman. And I just don't see an issue with, I think it's just much easier to run this, roughly 40 employee run and hand deliver them versus expecting 40 employees to log in and print it out themselves. I don't mind my staff doing the work. It doesn't take that long. And it's a simple convenience for the employees that they don't have to all go log in and do this. I mean, it's nice if they have the option still to log in if they want to see something else in there. But as far as the bi-weekly pay advice, I think it's a nice convenience to print it out and give it to them.
To Scott's point, a couple of weeks ago, I was informed that it was mandatory. I had to do a direct deposit. I thought, really? Why is all these years have I been doing it the old-fashioned way if it was mandatory and nobody caught it? And then I get the packet today and I realize, so it wasn't mandatory when I was told it was mandatory.
No, and I do apologize because that correspondence was sent from my office before I had a chance to review it.
I was one of those old curmudgeons that like getting a check. In the music business, we call it mail money. Yeah, so it's like nice getting mail money.
I will say right now we only have one employee that isn't on direct deposit already. Now, I didn't know you were before, but I didn't.
There were a few others that had to sign up as well.
I just know as of right now, there's one person that's not on it, and that is a part-time sub employee that gets maybe one check a year.
Well, my concern is for, when you have like the younger kids doing it and stuff like that, like the seasonal employees for Parks and Recs and different things like that, I don't know if they all have bank accounts set up at a young age.
Well, they have to if they want to cash a check.
No, you can cash checks without having a bank account. You show your you can. You can go to a bank and cash a check without having a
That's
bank
news to me.
account. I like the idea of doing electronic and not getting a check in the mail, like, because my check comes in the mail, but I get direct deposit, but I still get the pay stub. I like getting rid of that mail process for me because I don't need more things lost in the mail. But I think direct deposit versus a check should be optional. But I could see going electronic.
I'll tell you, most of the employees that we talked to
I talked to a bunch, I went to different departments today and talked to the employees, just letting them know about the motion that was going to the board and kind of what their take was. There was, all the employees at the township that I did speak to, besides one, thought this was a great option and that they would love to be able to go on to access their stubs online. I did see, like a presentation as walking through logging into your account through Envision. I thought it was user-friendly, and I thought it would be a great option for us. I know a lot of companies are now moving towards this, so I know like different employers that I've had have done this, and I just think it's kind of where the times are moving to.
Well, I think you can still do that, but still give them an option to get a
Option.
check, though, is what I'm saying. I don't mind going to the online option. I just think that
You mean the printed stub if they don't want to log an account? Is that what you mean?
No, what I'm saying is an actual check, like Bob received an actual check, correct? Like you had to go to the bank or you had to use your
Right,
phone to
yeah.
like I'm saying, I'm good with, let's go to online, because that's what my work does, and I've done that forever. But I'd like the employees to have a choice. Do I want a check or do I want direct deposit? Even if they get a check, they still can access all of their information online. From the payroll companies that I know, you can still get a check, but you still have everything online.
Yeah, we were just trying not to do double stuff.
Well, the only double stuff you would do
If you're
is,
getting a printed one and it's online, that's double.
yeah, but for how many people will that be for?
Well,
Well,
to
right
my
now
knowledge,
it's only
before
for
tonight's
one.
meeting,
Right
it was
now,
one
it's
person.
just one
Unless,
person.
unless the
So-
people that you had to, like, unless Bob decides to go back.
I didn't know anything
Do
about that until tonight, so.
So unless anybody who said they had to decides to go back, you might have a handful that you have to send out a check for. So it would still streamline it. It's just giving someone an option and not forcing them to do direct deposit is what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter to me. I don't use any of that stuff. They stack in the corner of my desk. So,
It's pretty nice when you log in, you can even access your W-2, like, we're still mailing out W-2s, but the portal it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've used many of those portals, so I don't mind doing that, but.
Is there a cost for using the portal? I mean, so it's something we're not doing now. but-
We already have access to it. It would not be a cost.
Okay, so the employees that want to could look it up on the portal instead of getting the pay stub.
Well, I would think if you're gonna do direct deposit, you'll be a portal person. If you're gonna do
Yeah,
check,
you
you
might as well.
still get the portal, but. I'm
Don't
not
speak
sa-
for everybody. I like,
not
I
saying
like
mail
getting
out
my
pay
piece of
stub.
paper. I just do.
but you can still
Yeah.
get that.
Right, by printing it off.
From my perspective, the less I have to do online, the better I like it.
And that's my point, is not everybody, and maybe not everybody has a working printer at home, it's not that hard to print these out. It's really not. And
I
it's,
don't think it's about if it's difficult or not, and I understand everyone's take on this because there's really two sides to it. So it's good that we're having this discussion, and that's why it's going to the board. I think it's a good option, and then also when you have a direct deposit, that frees up two departments to be able to be more efficient in other areas. Now a lot of people are on direct deposit, so it's different now than it was when we first took office, but.
From my perspective, I could care less, one way or the other. I don't care. It's just like I said, I was a little put out by saying, well, you have to do this. Really?
And again, I apologize because I did not review that before, and when I seen that
I'm
word
not-
requirement, I'm like,
I'm not
how can
pointing
we
fingers
require?
yet.
So I apologize because
All right, well, let's vote on it and see what happens. Because we have a motion and a second, so can we roll call that, please?
Thurman,
No.
Unruh,
No.
Blair,
yes.
Broughton,
no.
De Palma,
No.
Marshall,
No.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion's defeated. Do we want to make a different motion, or are we going to leave it alone?
Is that 5-2?
Well, if we don't make another motion, it just reverts back to what has been already, right?
Correct. and it just
What if
doesn't change.
what if we take Dana's spin on it and you don't require it, but we also make it to where employees, well, I guess you would, we change the policy to have employees be able to access that portal through, if they want to.
Dave, can I ask for your guys, because, we hand a whole stack of pay advices, which most of them are just the information. There's no check because they had direct deposit. But we hand those all to Andrea, and then she can pass them out. Is that not an easy process or not?
No, in fact, I was gonna say it would be nice if you still printed them and passed them.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So do we would just want to leave it as it is then? Okay, so we'll move on. All right, the other policy changes for longevity. This is 5.8 in the general employee benefits manual. The township has been paying since as far back as 2008 longevity to elected employees, but the current policy doesn't state that directly. So we're just looking to add including in elected employees, as you see on 5.8 there, to the longevity part of the contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended 5.8 longevity paragraph in the general employee benefits manual as presented with an effective date of January 1st, 2023.
Second.
Okay,
Again, I have a question.
okay.
I've been here on the board for over 5 years. I don't remember ever having received anything as far as longevity in any of my checks. How does that appear?
It's once a year. It's not in your check. It's in November.
If
When
I
does
got-
when does
I
your
don't remember
5-year
having-
hit?
You'll probably see it this year, Bob.
Okay, all right. That could be, I just don't remember having seen it.
I'll double check on your hire date.
Five.
It's
Five
five.
is the first one.
It is 5 years, because I do get them, because I've been on the board longer than
Because
5
I could get a
years.
Happy Meal with this.
Yeah.
All right, any
Call
other
you tomorrow and
questions?
double check the date.
Nope. All right, can we get a roll call, please?
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. All right, next we have our poverty exemption from the assessor. This gets done every year. It's that time of year to do it, so it's in front of us here. We just need a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the Charter Township of Brandon Guidelines Resolution number 381-23 for poverty exemption revised 1/9/2023 as presented.
I'll second.
Any questions on this? Okay, good, because Bill's not here to answer them.
It's all law,
It
right?
is, it is. Can we get a roll call, please?
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. We need to renew the terms of the Board of Review, which are expiring in odd years. We did as well. Did we post this? I think we posted this. Yep. So we're just looking to renew the people that are on the Board of Review, which is Dan Ledgerwood, Christine Zane, Jane Derry, and Jason Galt is the alternative member.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Why did we choose the date January 3rd instead of January 1st?
I think
Motion.
because did they meet that day? Maybe because they met that day. I don't know. We can put the 9th. It doesn't matter to me.
No, I said the 1st, January 1st, for the new year, right?
It was a
That's-
Sunday.
And it wasn't that they didn't meet on Sunday.
I
All right,
just,
so we
just
can put the
curious.
1st. I don't know. It's probably a typo.
Well, I'm guessing that's the first
It was the first day of
first
business.
day of the, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I see, because it's ending December 31st.
Right.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any township business till the 3rd.
All right.
Okay,
So that's probably why. So we can leave it as the 3rd.
sure.
Doesn't matter.
All right. I'll make the suggested motion. Need a second?
Support.
Thank you. Can we roll call that, please?
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. Any citizens' comments on anything? Yep. Come on, limit to 3 minutes, please. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Angie Andish. I have 2 children that are that participate in basically all of the Parks and Recs programs, and then I also help to run the Brandon Junior Blackhawks program. So I just had a couple of concerns that have come up recently with the Parks and Rec just scheduling of things that I just wanted to see if maybe some resolution could come to. So because I am connected with a lot of the BJB stuff, I end up talking with a lot of families and have a lot of good connections with them, especially kids that are sports affiliated. So as part of that, I also get a lot of phone calls from people if something isn't going well, to see if I can help kind of resolve that as well. So I'm kind of on the behalf of several different parents that I've talked to recently. So for Parks and Recs, I 100% understand that a lot of it depends on volunteers and being able to get coaches to volunteer in order for these programs to run. But some of the things that have come up recently seem to be a relatively easy fix as far as scheduling of like gym time or getting news out and like to be able to recruit kids to be able to fill a lot of these programs. Just for instance, currently my son's involved in the Jets basketball program, which was advertised as a 4th, 5th, and 6th grade program. So there should be a 4th grade team, a 5th grade team, and a 6th grade team. There was a difficult time. I think only one flyer came home this time, and I didn't see anything. In the past, we would get like mailers that came out, or there would be things that would be published in the Citizen to try to recruit more people to be part of these programs. And I think there was just one flyer, and I understand that part of that is because there was a changeover that was happening in the Parks and Rec's office. So I do understand that. But in trying to fill those spots for these kids to be able to participate at an age-appropriate level, there seemed to be a lot of resistance to have 3 full teams running. And now that we are able to get these 3 full teams, there's issuing and getting practice time for our kids. So this past weekend, our kids had their very first games, and it was sad. Like, I love watching my son play and my daughter to play and participate in all of these sports, but their final score was like a 4-44. I mean, it was just sad watching them come off of the court with their heads hung down because they weren't even able to compete at a good level because they're only able to practice once a week, and the teams that they're playing are practicing 3 to 4 times a week, 2 hours a night. It's very disheartening to see them not want to continue to participate, and especially in a day and age where technology and screen time and all of those things, when we have kids that are wanting to be able to participate in these things, just giving them an opportunity and the ability to do that and want to keep an interest and develop a passion and interest in to continue with these sports and activities. I'm more than happy to help anywhere that I can to try to improve upon these things. So for our BJB program, we're already scheduling our gym times for the fall with Rachel Davis through the school. And she's wonderful to work with, and I've talked with her a few different times about trying to get some extra time for our kids right now. And she says she's more than happy to work with anybody. She just needs to have a little bit more communication to get some of these things on the books so that they're ready to go. Some of the other concerns that have been brought to me, specifically just dealing with the basketball program, is, like I said, there's a 4th grade, a 5th grade, and a 6th grade team. And after parents paid the registration fee, the 4th grade and the 5th grade teams then had to come back and pay an additional $10 to participate in the program this year. And I understand that part of that was because the cost went down this year as opposed to last year. But last year, our kids also practiced twice a week and got shorts with their registration fees, and this year it was just jerseys and not shorts. So I'm not really sure where that difference was coming into play either. So I had a lot of 4th and 5th grade parents reach out to me and ask why those 2 teams had to, but the 6th graders didn't. Sorry.
Your 3 minutes is up. I just wanted to tell you that.
Sorry.
You're all right. I appreciate you coming in, and we could talk, Fred, about that. Thanks for bringing that to us. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other residents? Yep.
Hi, my name is Venus Clark, and I work here at Brandon Township. I thought I was supposed to be on the agenda today, but they said I wasn't working enough hours, but I would like to take into consideration all the weeks that I did work 40 hours a week and add those in to make my average. So I'm thinking you're not looking at the right hours, so if you could just take a look at that. And
He's referring to when she's sub for Kara when she's not sick.
And that would be a valid argument for this year, but maybe not what happens next year if you don't do that. So I think they're going to work something else out.
okay, great. Well, yeah, this meeting was postponed. It's supposed to happen in 2020, so just trying to get it happening.
All right. Any additional board comments? Kathy?
Just be careful when the weather gets cold and things get icy.
Steve?
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Jeez.
Bob?
Dana?
Have a good night, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. I'll say it. I'm going to keep saying it.
Rosalind. All right.
Thank you all for attending.
All right, I don't have anything else either, so we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.